In our tutorial today, we are going to learn how to populate a DataGrid view with data from an SQLite database using the ADO.NET data providers. And as you can see in my user interface, this is the main form, the contact manager form, and this is the grid view, and you can see the name is the contacts grid. I named it contacts grid. So I've got a database called contacts, and it got a table which hold the contacts for people, and here is where the contact information is going to be populated when we load this form. So I will double click to expose the code view, and as you can see, I have imported the system.data library and also the system.data.SQLite library. It's very important before anything else we import the SQLite data libraries. So there is also the connection string which specify the data source as the contacts.db, which is an SQLite database, and also we are using the version 3 SQLite database. As the time of this recording, that is the newest version or the latest version. And also we have got the new attribute which is equal to true, that specifies that whenever the contact database is not available or cannot be found, to create a new database. So I will create a function. I will say private sub, actually it's supposed to be a sub, and I will call it load grid, and this is where I will specify the code that will load the information from the SQLite contacts database and display it on the grid. And one of the things that we need to do, we will create a new data table. So I'll say dim contacts data table as new data table. We can also specify the name of the data table if you wish, but in my case we'll just let the code itself specify a default name for us. And also we will specify the data adapter. So we'll say contacts data adapter. This acts as a bridge between the database and the data grid. So as a new SQLite data adapter, and here we are going to specify two things. One of it is the SQL select statement and the connection string. So the data adapter will automatically open a connection for us, execute the command or the SQL query for us, and fill that data inside the data table, and therefore we can expose it to the data grid as the data source. So here I will write a SQL query, select all from TBL contacts. That's the name of the table, and I'll end that with a semicolon. Then I will also put the connection string as also one of the SQLite adapter parameters. So I will write con string there. Another thing that I will do is to fill the data table with the information from the TBL contacts table in our SQLite database. So I will say contacts data adapter dot fill, and I will supply the contacts data table as the parameter, and after I've done that, I will also specify the contacts data table as the data source, for the DataGrid view, because now from the data adapter the information from the TBL contact has been added or into the data contacts data table, and therefore it can be a data source for the TBL contacts information. So I will write the contacts grid dot the source data source is equal to the contacts data table. So this is the code that we require for us to be able to perform that action, and we need to call this function on the form load such that when the form loads, it calls this function and populates the contact grid data grid view with the information or data from the contacts data table. So we will write that code, load grid. So I will save my project and I will run. So as we wait, that form will load with information from the contacts table in our SQLite database. It might take a while, but in a few we will get to see. Now this is the information that was actually in the table. So thank you so much for viewing this video, and stay tuned for more.